Flying is the watchdog of the honeyfoxes, and they rely on this native skill to gather powdered sugar from the trees, which is the honeyfox's main diet in the spring. In this part of Australia, the mother of the honeyfoxes spends her mornings traveling through the forest for nectar, and although the food is plentiful, there is no shortage of competitors. Flocks of parrots have become the main rivals to the mother of the honeyfoxes, and at midday, the hottest hour of the day, they return to the nest against the backs of their mother, who is already hungry. Inside, his cubs are hungry for food, and their dependence on their mother makes them desperate to be close to her. The youngster, who has been away from the park for less than half a month, has not yet fully adjusted to the absence of his mother, but he is already counting down to his independence. This year's midsummer will be the time when he will have to spend time apart from his mother, and the time between mother and honeybuns will always be a short but beautiful evening. The arrival of a giant lizard disturbed the mother and child, a fearsome beast of prey, and it was this mother and child that he aimed at, and his shrewd methods enabled him to climb the trunk of a tree with ease, and the mother picked up her cubs, now incapable of gliding, and in a single bound. The mother and child escaped from danger, and it wasn't long before the mother and child had found a new home, a new home, a new home, a new home, a new home. In a few weeks, he will be living on his own, but before that, he must learn how to forage for food. Every year during this season, there are always some strange spots on the leaves of the trees. These are the nests of the priests, which secretes sweet sap from their tails, creating a candy house the size of a grain of rice. The youngster loves this flavor. The season of planting is still hot and dry. Though there are dark clouds, they don't bring any rain, but rather, they bring disasters. 15 days of rain fall in the west, igniting the dry leaves and grasses, brewing a forest fire, a fire that spreads, a fire that is now fully grown, a fire that mother can no longer carry on her back, a fire that can only be carried out by itself, a fire that begins to surround him, and a firehawk that takes advantage of the flames to look for its victims. And a fire that begins to panic the little guy, who wants to fly, who wants to escape. And in this situation, the first time the little pocketwoo flies may be the last time, and the last time may be the last time that the little guy will ever have the opportunity to fly. Under these circumstances, the first flight of the little honeypot crow, and possibly his last, was a first, a last, a life and death, a flower, a ring, a stretch of the wing membranes, a ride on the wind, and the little fellow was a success, except that, sadly, his success was not to be shared with his mother, who had been separated by the fire. But no matter, he would live. He would always have a chance to be reunited, and on the scorched earth, the little fellow eked out a life of survival, living on burnt insects, as long as he waited for the rains to arrive, and for the trees to revive, and then his life would be a little better. By now, the little fellow was fully independent, and could cope with any hardship, except that he had never found his mother.